Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome to my guide on the Tithe farming minigame. I will not be showing you guys how to get the best experience per hour here. I will just be showing you guys pretty much the basics on how to do it, and I will show you how much experience I got per hour doing it. I actually think it's quite a bit, especially for farming. This minigame is actually really cool. It finally gives like farming a way to train it without like having to wait for hours and hours to actually get some decent experience. So let's go ahead and get into it with the requirements. And here are some of the requirements. You're going to be needing 100% of the Hoe Sidious Favor and at least 34 plus farming. Now I have 74 plus farming, so you're going to be seeing the experience rates I get with the best fruit. So if you get lower experience with 34 plus farming, then you'll know why. Now, for the 100% Hoe Sidious Favor, you're going to need to get the first 5% doing the plows, and then I recommend just doing the buckets of compost and salts for the rest of it. Now, they ended up fixing the percentage you would get. You used to get only 0.1% for every 6 buckets of compost. Now you get 0.3% for every 6 buckets of compost. So for 95%, it should take about 1,900 buckets, which actually is not that much, and you should be able to get that done when like easily under an hour if you buy all the stuff itself. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with what you're going to want to wear and what you're going to want in your inventory. Now, you're actually going to be wanting to have a spade in your inventory and a seed dibber at all times. And you're also going to be wanting some watering cans. I actually have just about 11 in here. You're not going to really need much more than that, and I also have some stamina pots because you'll be running around quite a bit. I actually did not use any stamina pots, but if you have lower agility level and you do not have graceful, you might actually need them. Now I also have a staff of water and some fire runes and some astral runes for the humidify spell, just to refill my watering cans if I need to. You can also fill the watering cans with some water barrels inside the minigame. But to start this minigame, all you have to do is grab some seeds off this shelf, and then you can walk through the door. The guy's going to try to stop you and talk to you and see if you know what you're doing, and you could just tell him you know what you're doing. If not, you can actually just talk to him and he'll tell you some things, but it's pretty self-explanatory actually. Here's also a Leprechaun. You can get a seed dibber and your spade from if you've already stored one here before. So that's also kind of nice. Now they also give you some fertilizer for this minigame. I do not recommend using this fertilizer. If there's people using this fertilizer and getting more experience per hour than me, then that's great. But for me, personally, I did not find the fertilizer useful at all. Alright, so this is actually very easy. You're going to basically just want to start off at one end and then plant a seed and then water it. I'm actually using the humidify spell here. As you can see, it fills up all my watering cans, so that's very useful. If you have the humidify spell, like I said before, you're going to definitely want to use it. But just pretty much all you have to do is plant the seeds and then water them. And yeah, I'm just going down the list. You can add fertilizer to make them grow quicker, but I actually find that throws my cycle off a lot more. If you're going to be doing the fertilizer method, I would probably only use 2 patches, but the way I do it, you're going to want to use 4 patches. So pretty much I watered them all, and now I'm moving on to this patch. And you can actually see, like at the end, by the time I get to the end here, that it ends up just pretty much being perfect as far as like the growing cycle goes. And another thing is you have to water these, by the way. If you end up forgetting to water one of the plants and it ends up going through one of the growing cycles, it's going to end up dying. There's nothing that can happen for it. It's never going to like grow or like have a chance of growing. It's always going to die. So you're going to always want to make sure you at least get some water on one of the plants. Okay, so now that we're almost done, I'm going to go ahead and start speeding this up a little bit. And as you can see, when I run back to water the plants, they're all just starting to grow out of their first phase. This is without the fertilizer. So if you had added fertilizer, they're probably all going to end up dying. So there's just pretty much no way you can do 4 patches with fertilizer. And see, I make my way back again, and they're just starting to grow again. So, I mean, this is very, like, click intensive. Or not, like, really too click intensive, I guess. But, like, you have to be on your feet, like, pretty much the whole time. And you can't pretty much, like, go AFK for anything. Because the plants will end up dying if you end up walking away or something. But then, here's the last phase. You just go in there and pick them all. Now, you would think you would want to start planting them right away, but if you do that, it's just going to offset the cycle. So make sure you harvest everything before you start planting and watering again, like I did here. Now I'm pretty much just watering on this side and going to start the cycle back over. So that's pretty much the best way that I have found doing this. Like I said, this probably isn't the best way to do it. I'm sure there's somebody else who's found a better way, but this is just the way I've done it, and this works very well for me, and I'll show you guys how much experience I got at the end of it. But first, let me actually show you the shop and the rewards. There actually is a point system, so there actually is some rewards that you can get. At the moment, all you can get is compost and some super compost. And then there's also a Grigoler's can. I'm not sure if I'm butchering that name at all, But also I did decide to check, see how much I bought 2 compost, and it does come noted. So I guess if you got a bunch of points over time, you can just buy them all noted. So that's kind of nice that you don't have to keep like making trips back to the bank. They also said that they're planning on putting in a like farming outfit that gives a 2.5 XP bonus, kind of like the lumberjack and the prospector outfit. So that's going to be really cool, and that's also going to be 1 through here. Obviously they have to pull this first, but more than likely it's going to end up passing because it seems like people like these kind of outfits. But here's actually the experience rates that I ended up getting in 1 hour of doing this. This actually was my first or like second hour of doing this, so obviously if I keep doing this, I'll probably end up being able to get this experience rate even more. But I actually ended up getting 79k experience in this hour, not the 81k. I'm not really sure why it's showing that, but I timed it with a stopwatch and ended up getting 79.1k this hour. So I mean, yeah, I guess you could just say an average of 80k an hour. And I've heard some people getting it up to at least 90k, so, or I shouldn't say at least 90k, like up to 90k. So obviously this is a very good minigame for farming. I think Jagex actually did a very good job on this, but that's it for this video, guys, and I'll see you later. Adios.